All right, so what we're doing today is we're making this necklace that you've seen me wear before, that, you know, you've seen the picture. And this was just, I'm changing the direction of my business. And so this is kind of a trial run where I'm going to be doing some tutorials. So y'all get the freebie version. At some point I'm going to have this, I'm going to offer tutorials for some of the stuff that I make, for those that want to do the DIY thing. And that's, come on. Well, anyway, so we've got these textured flowers that are really pretty easy to do. And with the necklace, the earrings, and a bracelet. Okay, so I don't know if you want to, you can see those if you want. And these are just some extra flowers that I had left over. Sometimes it'll focus and sometimes it won't. There it goes. Yep. Well, and then sometimes it focuses and then it goes out of focus. Okay, so I had 3 different, my different colors here. These are custom colors. And on this. And I used things that you could find around the house or that you could buy really cheap, because I want this to be like a beginner type project for somebody that's just trying to figure out if they want to do, come on, focus. It's a little better. If they want to even really invest a whole lot into polymer clay, you know. And we did have a person contact us before all of this COVID stuff, who was planning to come. She didn't get to come that one time. She had something come up, and then, you know,
somebody private messaged me too that was interested. But yeah,
we'll have to see if it's the same person. But anyway, and so I need to get back in touch with her. But she was just exploring the idea of polymer clay. So that's kind of my idea, is for somebody that's just kind of exploring it and doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money. So what I did was this one right here, I used a piece of lace, and I stopped by Helen Enoch's one day and just bought a few pieces of lace, and just little short pieces. Didn't cost a whole lot. I think I spent maybe $5 for several pieces of lace. And I'll show you here in a minute how I did this so that, you know, it came out looking, come on, very random. It's not, there's no definitive pattern to it. And then, let's see, okay, easy while I reach here. I'm not very well organized on this. I'm just, let me find my other piece that I used. I think this is the lighter color of this. I used this piece of lace, this side, and came up with that texture. So it's not doing real well on the camera here, so I don't know if you can tell much of a difference. And then the final one, I have these little balls of wadded up aluminum foil. And I'm sure you've all used those. And I just rolled it around on the surface of the clay.
Texture.
Huh?
Great texture.
Yes, it does provide great texture. and it's cheap. and everybody has aluminum foil in their kitchen. Just go grab a piece and wad it up and make it into a ball, and you've got texture. So anyway, if y'all want to look at those, you can. That's so. Then for the back side, because I like to texture the back as well, and I don't know if you can tell much. Well, it focuses and then it goes away. Come on. Well, anyway, it's just a real light texture, but I use the I like to use the stair tread stuff. Yeah, I've shared quite a bit of it with others, and I've got other smaller pieces around too. So worked pretty good. I've got some little bitty tiny pieces and worked pretty good for sanding those cutters, the rough edges off of them. So anyway, but you can see where that has, you know, I've laid some stuff down on there, some clay on that. And so let me see what's, oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't print out my, okay, we're gonna wing it. I typed up all the steps and everything and was gonna print that out and forgot to do it. And I knew I was forgetting something. There's always something. Okay, so the first thing, hopefully you have your clay in a sheet on a like number 3 setting, and I don't remember, I put it on the website, I believe, how many playing cards thick that is. It's like 5 or 7 or something like that. Like kind of a medium setting. And move this around here. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to spritz this with water. Because sometimes if you don't, it gets stuck. And that's one of the reasons it's kind of discolored there. And I have forgotten at times to spritz it. And I end up with clay stuck in it. And you're going to take your piece of lace or whatever you happen to have that you want to use, texture plate, whatever. And you're just going to lay it on there. Take your roller and you're just going to roll over it. You're going to pick it up, move it just randomly. And you're just going to keep doing that until your whole piece is textured. And you see how the texture is starting to form there. Sorry, my table's a little wobbly. And I just kept putting it on top, you know, and just adding more texture, more layers. And this is a great piece of lace because it's got so much, you know, texture, really deep texture to it. And because the threads are heavy.
I think I got mine too thick. I'm looking at yours.
Well, you know what? It'll thin out as you do this.
Okay.
Because as you roll over, it's going to thin it some. So,
So with the number 3 on my dream machine.
That looks almost like a number 1 on mine.
Okay, so
Okay.
So I'll get my machine out. Or I guess I could just roll it in.
Okay, and I'm going to pick it up, and there you got texture on the back side too. That's even more textured than what I had done because I didn't do it that way. I just went back and textured it afterwards. And then I got smart and decided to lay it down on here. The this one again, and that's still pretty damp there, so I'm not going to spritz it again. This was this one, and again, and you can use the same texture for all of your flowers. You don't have to change it up. I was just playing around with the textures to see what I liked, and I liked them all. So but again, just randomly place it on there and put it on top of where you've already placed texture, and it will just create a really interesting pebbly look. And again, this is a heavier lace, so you can see there maybe this one, it's picking up the color from the clay, but it's a heavier thread, so you get a kind of see that. It's very random. And then this was the one I used my little aluminum foil and just rolled it around and rolled it around and rolled it around. Just like that. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. But you can see creates really random texture. I'm going to show you, here's some other things that I bought partly for texture. This is a lighter lace, and I'm going to use a little bit of it here and see what we come up with. If anything, whoops. Yeah, that works too. It just gives it a lighter texture. And there was one of these, I don't remember what I used it on, and then this. Oh yeah, this, the back of it, I textured it with this. And this was a piece of cloth that Penny Joe had for us down in Maysville. And just, she had a whole bunch of texture stuff laid out one time for us to take, and I picked up this piece of cloth, and that makes a really cool texture.
It's a nice texture.
It is very nice texture. Did you get a piece of it?
I probably did, but now I'm going to be motivated to pull that out.
And then this is just wired ribbon that, again, it's, you know, it's a kind of a similar texture, a little more even. Let's see what it looks like here. If we and these kinds of things are good for the backs too. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
Okay. And let me see. And then this one is a little heavier, and obviously I haven't even used it at all. And if y'all want some of this, you're welcome to take a piece. I got plenty. Let's see. Let me put it on a place where I haven't already textured
the monitor.
What?
Too bad it doesn't come through the monitor.
Yeah, I know. Look at that. Isn't that awesome?
That's
Ooh.
yeah, I like that.
Okay. You know what? It doesn't cost that much for me to stick a piece in an envelope. So, you know, if you want some.
I don't know. 50 cents.
I can, you know, send me your address, your mailing address, and I'll cut a piece off and stick it in an envelope. Okay. And now my one. Okay. Glad you got scissors because mine are back in the other room. So, all right.
Carry almost the most important things in this little figure.
Well, I just gathered stuff up and okay, now then, the next thing that we need to do, if I can find my cutter, is cut the flowers. Now I've got, these are from the, how'd that get in there? The graduated cutter set. And then this is the, one of the, this is from a different set that had, I think, different shapes. It's deeper than the others. See that? I'm all turned all kinds of ways here. See, it's deeper than the others.
Okay.
And that one's a 1/2 inch. This one's 3/4 inch. I think in some ways the 3/4 inch might be better, but the 1/2 inch is what I used and came up with these tiny little flowers, which just, it's individual preference, whatever you want to do. But I think there's one more size in this set that, you know, is in between these two. But I used the 2-inch cutter for my center flower for this one here. And just cut it. And I have the whole list. I will post the instructions with the list. I have the list of how many of the different colors you need. And
You said 2 inch?
yeah, the 2-inch, the size. And then, if I remember right, the next size, let's see, this one is 1 1/2, and I think this one's, yeah, 1 1/4. So the next one that I would need out of this, that would need 2 of them, would be the 1 1/4 inch size. Oops. And
And 2?
let's see if I can figure it out here. I've got, well, these are all. Anyway, and if my husband hadn't taken off and gone somewhere, I would just go ahead and print that out and say, would you go get that off the printer for me? But anyway, but this is good enough to show you what we're going to do. So the first thing you want to do with your flower is you're going to take your thumb and your forefinger like this, and you're going to thin the edges. And you're just going to go around and just kind of thin it.
I used a ball tool.
I tried that, and it, I mean, you can do it, but I was trying to preserve the texture as much as possible. And if you use the side of your thumb and the side of your finger, you're not going to get a lot of fingerprints. Now you will lose some of the texture, but not a whole lot. I just,
Well,
you know.
and plus if this is for a beginner, they might not have all those tools.
Right, right, and that's another thing. You know, that was my point, was to try to create something that somebody who's a beginner would be able to not have to go buy and invest in a lot of tools to do it. So anyway, and if you do wipe out some of the texture, you can always get my thing here, put it down and get your texture, and just, you know,
I guess I could do 2 different
do like
textures.
that. You can do as many different textures as you want. You know, I don't know what it'd be like if you took, you know, the one lace and put the other lace on top of it. But anyway.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to do the thread on the edge.
Then you're going to just kind of ruffle the edge with your finger. It's kind of like doing a pie crust, you know, where you, you know, you flute the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just going to kind of, you know, gently give it a little tug. and do that edge on there and just go all the way around, and you're just going to mess with it. You're not, and then you kind of just bend, and the largest one and the smallest one are probably the hardest ones to do. So, and you get, let's see, did I bring my, I brought my tile in here and then took it back in, and Mark brought my earrings in and didn't bring the tile back. So I have a piece of parchment here. So when you get ready to bake it, you're going to put it on your tile, or whatever you're going to use to bake it with, and just kind of pull and tuck. And I thought about pulling up some pictures, but if you do a Google search for anemones, you will find that this looks a lot like an anemone. Especially if you look, there's one that's a Japanese anemone, and that one really looks like, it looks a lot like this, because some of the petals were kind of tucked under. But anyway, and once you get that done, now something I did, and I think these look more like poppies. This looks more like a golden poppy. I took I couldn't find it at first, so I didn't, it was hidden. Something was on top of it. But I put everything in my hollow bead maker and ended up with more of a bowl or cup shaped flower. And this, like I said, this reminds me of a golden poppy here. So, but poppies and anemones both were coming up when I was searching and, going through. There was one website that had something like 300 flowers, because I was like, I don't want to just call it a fantasy flower again. Oh, and that reminds me of something else I forgot to get out. And I mentioned it to Jane earlier today, was my original inspiration for these. Maybe I'll go find it here in just a little bit, but it was some flowers that I made way back 20 some years ago when I first started with clay. And, they were just kind of shaped like this. And so anyway, I thought, well, that would be easy enough for somebody just starting out, and you don't need a whole lot of stuff. Now then, with those, I made a hole in the center, and they're attached to rat tail cord. They're just stitched on, and the centers were made of rat tail cord. But me and my crystals. So I'm going to take just a little piece of clay off of here, and you're going to just take a little piece of a contrasting color and roll it up. And I think I told you all, where'd my stuff go that oh, there it is. All right, easily accessible. You can either use a brush, a stiff brush, which I couldn't find one stiff enough. I used an old toothbrush, I think, for these, and didn't get a real good texture, and it's not going to show up there. But this turned out really good. If I can get it to, I want my water. Come on here. Get it over here where it's more solid black. Well, this camera just doesn't want to cooperate. Come on. Okay, maybe you can kind of see it there. You get a decent texture with that. So you're just going to kind of flatten that little ball a little bit, and it'll flatten some more as you work with it. And you just take that and just go around it like that. And
Now, what is that thing you're using for texture?
the scrubby.
Scrubby.
Ah, okay. Cool.
And I have all kinds of things in my texture drawer. And that's still not gonna, let me see if I can, let me get my old blue thing here and see if it'll work better. There we go. Now then, from there, you're gonna take it and you're going to put a crystal in the center of it. Mhm. And this, I think I told you all 30, but I think I must have done a 34. But anyway, I'll use it. 30. Yeah.
I don't know what size.
Well, just, you know, your largest crystal or whatever.
You're using that brand because it will take the heat.
These are hot fix crystals. And I do have them labeled with the number. The larger the number, the larger the crystal. And then you're going to take that and you're just going to put it down in the center of your flower. And what I usually do is I'll have several lined up. And wait a minute, I knew, see, I skipped some steps. Let me take that off. You got to have some glitter.
Oh, I have, what's this for?
I'll show you in just a minute.
What's this called?
Mica powder. Pearlettes. You're going to take just on your finger and just dab a little bit of glitter around on your flower. Give it a little bit of sparkle. Try to be careful not to get too much all in one place like I just did. But you know, tape, which I don't have in here, but tape, Scotch tape works wonders to take off excess glitter. Little trick I learned from Christy Friesen. Okay, anyway, so now you get a little bit of sparkle there. Mm-hmm. More if you need it. Okay, and now I'm going to take and this one I'm using Brilliant Gold on this, but I used different colors on the different ones. I used a bronze glitter. I used the same gold, iridescent gold glitter on the pink as I did on that lighter yellowish gold. Kind of I call it a butterscotch color, that one. But I decided to use a bronze on the darker color, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd stuck with the other.
Do you want some of this glitter?
Okay, and you're going to get just a little bit on your finger, or you can use a brush, and you can just kind of rub it around lightly, so you don't, but that's going to highlight that texture. Okay, and then when you get that done, then you can put it in the center. Kind of just press it down real lightly. And that flower is ready to go in the oven. And it just depends on your personal preference as to how curly you want to make the petals. If you want them curled back, this one I got really curled under. This one isn't so much. So, oh, the other thing is to put holes in it.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Now,
if you're gonna make it into a
yeah.
necklace.
Now then, and if you see, I keep forgetting things. I had all these steps, and my little stamp. If you have a stamp, most beginners are not going to have stamps, and I don't know where. Oh, it went on the floor.
Where did you get that stamp from, Daddy?
Metalclays.com.
I like that.
And this is, of course, it's my logo. And so just stamp it on the back. And it doesn't matter if it flattens out a little bit because it's getting covered up with that. Kind of give it a little bit more shape there. All right, now then, what I was going to say is I drilled mine afterwards because I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do as far as where I wanted to place the holes and everything. So I have a pin vise, and that drill bit is from a set from my Dremel. You know, the Dremel isn't necessary. I have a needle tool. I have a bunch of needle tools actually that I made out of scrap clay. Just put some wire through the eye of the needle, and these are like tapestry needles and stuff like that. And you know, that works well to make holes. If you have the etch and pearl set, this is the smallest of the etch and pearls, that works. But for those who are just starting out, trying to decide what they want to do, I can get it here, a toothpick. And you want to place, on the large flower, you want to place the holes at about 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And that's to help it hang right. So I'll show you here on this one. So I've got them at 2 and 10. The rest of them are straight across. 3 and 9, 6 and 12, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, directly across. Okay, now it's ready for the oven. So I'm going to, I don't know, is anybody actually making flowers with me today besides those here? Leanne's making flowers. Connie's making flowers. Let's see yours, Connie. Oh, pretty. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, I like her color.
Uh-huh. All right. Now it's time. Our pretties are out of the oven, and I'm going to show you on this one, which I may actually end up making into a pendant. I haven't quite worked that one out yet. But anyway, you can use Sculpey Gloss Glaze, which I figured that's pretty pretty easily accessible, whatever. It doesn't want to focus on it, but anyway, whatever. Or I have my Varathane, which I keep in an old medicine bottle. So, and I just kind of, with the Varathane, I kind of just turn it around and but let's see.
You shine everything, because I'm weird.
Mostly.
I like the.
Well, partly it's because I put glitter and stuff on everything. Glitter or mica powder or whatever. And, you know, you don't have to do it, of course, with just the clay, but with that stuff, if you're going to be wearing it, you want to protect it. So I've got my cup of water here, and I've got some paint brushes. These are just cheap Hobby Lobby paint brushes. I think I spent $4 for $4 or $5 for, I don't know, half a dozen or so paint brushes. And I'm just gonna take and brush it on there, and that will protect the glitter and the mica powder. I think actually this one might have already been done, but it's going to get done again. And see, and I don't necessarily need to do the back side because it's just clay. And I try to be careful not to get it on the crystal, but if you do, a Q-tip dipped in some alcohol will do a pretty good job of taking it off. When I use the Varathane, and I think you can do this with the Sculpey Gloss Glaze too, neither one has to be baked. But when you, if you do want a little, it'll harden faster, especially with the Varathane. If you put it back in the oven at a low temperature, like 150 to 200 degrees, something like that. I can't remember now. And it will harden faster. Anyway, and that's all that you have to do. You can let it sit. It will fully harden within, I think it's 24 hours on the Varathane, and I think the Sculpey may be about the same. I don't know if I can see that with this.
I think it is 24 hours.
Let dry 30 minutes between coats. Yeah, fully dry after 24 hours. So either one, you know, the Varathane is my preferred finish. I like the gloss that I get with it. Okay, so we're going to take these poppy looking flowers, more like poppies than anemones. And I've got some 6mm jump rings. I'm just going to put some out here. And I'm going to, this is the one thing that for somebody new, they're going to have to invest in some pliers.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you can do this with cheap ones. And Hobby Lobby has sets that are pretty cheap. Yeah, there are ways to get by with spending very little money.
Hey,
and I wish I had my
thinking about that, does anybody know? I think I might have got it at Dollar Tree. I have a little compact multi-tool that has like a screwdriver and Phillips on it. And I've been to Walmart, I've been to Harbor Freight, I've been to Dollar Tree looking for one. Now I can't find, I mean, I can find one on Amazon, but it's not small and they're expensive. And I know I didn't pay more than $5. I think I probably got it from the Dollar Tree.
Start looking now. This time of year is a good time to look.
Okay.
Coming up to all the Christmas stuff.
Stocking stuffers.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the word out
this,
of my mouth.
I can't get it to focus very well here, but you're going to put your pliers on either side of that opening and twist so that you get your jump ring open like that. Yeah, just,
you know, I remember who first taught me how to do that, because I guess I was opening them the wrong way, and that was I don't know if any of you guys remember her, Lisa Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to pull it apart.
Yeah, well, she was doing
Twist it.
Yeah,
Okay, and
she
there
started having
I've got
trouble
my
with her
hole
eyes.
right here.
She couldn't see.
So that's my 2 o'clock hole. So I'm going to work that through there. This happened to have cracked. So be careful.
A lot of people, like there was Lisa.
This clay had been sitting for a while when I
um,
formed the flowers.
that crazy lady that works for the dinosaur place.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Nance.
All right, we'll get another one.
Never.
That went flying.
And of course, Marcia lived in Tulsa. I got that. But I don't understand why Deborah's not coming. She's not moving.
Upside
she still lives
down.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
And Roe, I reached out to Roe.
Yeah. She sounded like she was really enthusiastic, but
I've tried to reach out. She actually, what Roe said is she's just staying hunkered down. It's the virus.
There we go. Okay, now I've got it through there. Now I'm going to put another jump ring on it. You're going to have 3 jump rings in between every 2 flowers. And I'm going to close that jump ring, and you want to just kind of wiggle it back and forth. And if you hear a little snap, that's good, because that means you got it real close and you got a good closure. That one didn't snap, but anyway. And then you're going to take your next largest size. These have not been varnished, but that's okay. I don't even have enough to make a full necklace. You're going to open that jump ring. You're going to put it through, find the hole here. Put it through that hole. And this time, and actually I really like my pin vise with my drill bit from my Dremel for doing this, because it makes a great size hole. I did these holes before they were baked. Okay, now then this is where it gets a little tricky. You're going to have to make sure that you're holding the flowers right, because otherwise you could end up with one flower turned this way and one flower turned this way.
Oh.
So
That would be me.
That was what I was just thinking. I wasn't thinking it would be you.
hey, it has taken practice for me to get to the point of being able to do this. You know, all my poinsettias and stuff, I have actually ended up with them backwards. So you're gonna get it. So your jump ring, that second jump ring on there, is flat. And if you've got them where they face the same way here, and you just kind of turn it down and hook that on. So they're going to be back to back. All right. And you close that up, and I didn't get that closed very well. It can be a little tricky getting in there. And if you don't get it close enough, just wiggle it and kind of push them together. And I can feel it there where it's going together. I need my other glasses so I can really see what I'm doing. But anyway, and there you have them connected. And they're both facing the same direction. And you're going to just do that again on both sides. You do it, you know, you can go all the way on one side, or you can go around on both sides. And it doesn't really matter which way you put the jump ring through. It's just whichever way it wants to go through easier. Hook that jump ring on there. And like I said, I'm wearing the wrong glass. I've got some super strong readers that I usually wear when I'm working with stuff like this.
I'm thinking I can get me some stronger readers.
Okay, and you close it up. And then you're going to take your next largest flower, which will be this one. And you're going to do the same thing again. And sometimes the hole doesn't really go all the way through very well. So that's something you kind of want to watch. But you can kind of work it in there, usually. There it is. Okay. Wiggle it around, it'll get there. And let's see. And again, back to back. Okay, make sure that your jump ring is laying out there kind of flat. Hook it on and close your jump ring. And it's that simple. And when you get to the end and you're ready to put your clasp on, You're going to do essentially the same thing. I'll just show you one side of the class. If I can find it here. Well, there we go. They do make, and I have one, a jump ring opener thing that you put on your finger and you can use. Some people find those helpful. I don't know why this particular flower didn't, the hole didn't go through very well. Neither one of them. Well, all right, so I'm going to cheat here. And I'm going to make that hole bigger so I can actually see the thing. I think. Sometimes it helps to put your drill through from both sides too, to get it open up. Okay, there we go. You're going to do the same thing. You go.
Betty,
Yes.
I noticed that clay, is that your cost clay? It seems real flexible.
No, this is not cosplay. This is Primo.
It's just real narrow, thin, just like, because it looks flexible.
No, not really. It's got a little bit of flex to it, but not much. And if I'm not careful, I'm going to end up. Yeah, see, I've got a spot there that's broken.
Mm-hmm.
That happened when I baked it. Okay, and then you're going to take. I used a toggle clasp. I'm sorry, Connie. I even turned it down a couple of degrees.
This woman's house, who she keeps it quite warm. I don't know, she just freezes. She says she's a reptilian. She just freezes all the time, and I just start burning up. And
Anyway, I'm going to put your clasp. Whoops, let me get it over here where you can see. Put your clasp on there. And this time you don't have to worry about which direction it goes. And hook it on there. And you're going to close it up. Do the same thing on the other side, and your clasp is on.
And so she comes up with fun little crafty things.
The other thing would be, let me see. You can do the same thing with the bracelet. On my bracelet, I did 3 of the 1 inch and 3 of the 1/2 inch flowers. Did them exactly the same way. You can get you can adjust the size a little bit with the size of your jump rings. But where did the earrings go?
I'm wondering if sometimes it feels like a waste.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I've misplaced the earrings. Where did they go? There we go. There's one. All right, on the earrings, you're going to do the same thing. But you're only going to have one hole in the larger flower on your earrings, and then you're going to do the 3. And this is a 1 inch and a 1/2 inch flower here, but you could do 1 inch and 3/4 inch or whatever. And then you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to put the jump ring through the one side, add the other jump ring, close this jump ring, and then you will open up the ear wire. Again, you're going to turn it to the side. I'll just show it. And not focusing. Cover that stuff up, see if that helps a little bit. And so when you go to put it on, you've got, you can see it there, and it's just turned to the side. You're going to make sure that your flowers are facing this side. trying to turn it so you can see here. Turn the front of the flower should be facing the same side as the front of the earring. Okay, so just put it on there, hook it on. I didn't open that up very much.
How strong are your readers that you?
4 plus 4.
Where do you find those?
Readers.com. Okay, and then you have your, and you know, this is the same thing. I just, you know, put one of the little flowers in the center of this little shield type shape, the rounded triangle, and did the same, attached it exactly the same way. Any questions?
Thank you, Betty.
You're welcome.